Hey, good stuff, people. This is always the case. When we say God, we now watch him work. It's not just words. So it turns out Julie Sloan, who you heard from in our live broadcast earlier, right there, who is this dynamo, crazy, doing so much good, so many layers of good. She's doing an interview right now. We're going to come right back to her. But wait till you hear what she's doing for this pet food pantry. She starts right out of her house. Julie, real quick, can also this is another good stuff story that since we came to you to these viewers live about half an hour ago, it turns out you drove from Detroit to be here downtown Cleveland for this demonstration for Justice for Coco. Give me a window into what your heart was saying that led you here.
Well, I just say he has to be held accountable, and if we're not here to stand up for Coco, who will? So this has got to be put to an end. This man needs jail time, not probation. And you know what's next? A child, a sister, a mother. This is where these people start. Is at a dog, and then they just escalate, and then the next thing you know.
And you drove 2 hours, and if this
2.5 hours. Yeah.
Let's just recap quickly the words that are even hard to say. But what happened? Let me see if we can get one. Can you show us one of these signs real quick? For people who may not have seen the previous one, what happened was the guy who was in court today is being charged with 3 felony counts, I believe it is, for animal cruelty, and they're here to say no, we're not going to just stand by if he ends up being released, because what happened. You know what, Tiffany? Can you explain again for us what happened? The horrible situation. I can't even really find the words.
So back in June, Coco is a 10-month-old Yorkie puppy, and she was at her owner's home. Her owner was at a concert, and Philip Savelli was there with the puppy. And there were no warning signs before, but he took the puppy and he dunked it in water, put it in the freezer, and left it there for about 30 minutes and pull it out of the freezer, and did it again when he realized it wasn't dead yet. And this was all caught on camera. And I don't know if you realized there were cameras in there, but he then put the dead, wet dog in the bed for the owner to come home and find. And when the owner got home, she asked him, what happened to my dog? And he was like, I don't know. And she just instantly watched the camera footage, and there was 2 hours of this horrible event where he tortured and killed the dog, and it's got sound on the video as well, which is horrifying. It's horrible for the owner.
It's the 10-month-old Yorkie we're talking about, like tinier than your own dog.
Yeah,
tinier than this little puppy right here. Tinier, to give you an idea how small. Yeah. So, and I want to go back about a minute or so ago. I said that he is in court on 3 counts of animal cruelty, but I think I said felony. They're not. That's the problem. The counts that he's up against.
They are felony, but with Goddard's law, the max sentencing he can get is 1 year in prison or a $2,500 fine, which, I mean, anybody who's capable of doing that, that's not enough. There's obviously something wrong with them. He could have stopped at any point. He didn't have to kill the dog, but he did. He went through with it, and he watched TV while the dog was in the freezer crying and shaking and suffering. Yeah.
So Senate Bill 164 would increase those penalties.
Yeah, so it would make animal cruelty a felony 4, and it would bring harsher penalties, and it would also classify it as a violent crime. So it would just expand on Goddard's law, which we're lucky we even have that. But overall, we definitely need to strengthen our animal cruelty laws, because these people are dangerous, and a lot of times there's proven studies that they move on to humans, after torturing animals.
And then, so we laid the premise again for people who may have not caught the first live shot. So this is horrible. It's not good stuff news. It's the unthinkable. The good stuff is, though, now that a lot of these people have left, but is that they rose up to say, what we're saying is action over anger. Like, let's make sure that we are a voice for the voiceless, and it doesn't have any end. So, with that being the premise, now my new friend Tiffany Sloan, who I particularly be famous friends for life, because you are classic Graassroots, the good stuff, and that's what happens in these stories. Like, I came with a heavy heart, and I'm leaving with a smile. Like, my face hurts from smiling, because tell me about this food pantry effort that you're
doing.
My gosh, right out of your own home.
So I was cleaning out my kitchen, and I found some extra cans of dog food, and I was like, I don't need these. So I posted them on the app called Nextdoor. I was like, hey, does anybody want this? But with the caveat, like, make sure it's somebody that's in need. And I had 7 families that messaged me, and I was like, oh no, I don't have enough for 7 families. So I was like, all right. So I went to Target, I bought $100 worth of food, and then took care of all the families that did message me, and then I had 2 bags left, and I was like, okay, so I posted those on Nextdoor, and from there it blew up. All my neighbors were like, can I pitch in? Can I help? So my front porch turned into this hub where everybody was just dropping off all of this food. Fast forward, that started in February by accident, and now we've fed over 700 animals and distributed over 2,000 items, and I built a whole website and a database, and yeah, people request food all the time. I had 3 pickups yesterday, and yeah, I've got some to fill today. So we're just feeding the animals in the neighborhood because it's a help that a lot of people can't get. There are a couple food pantries in the area, but they generally only offer food like maybe once a month, or the people in most need don't have transportation. So I actually have a list of over 70 volunteers that will deliver the food to people that don't have transportation. Yeah.
And you said just when you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to stop, I don't have enough food, there's always seems like, we say God leaves, no one to work.
Yeah.
I can't say it enough.
Every time I'm just like, okay, no, I don't know how I'm going to get the next batch of food, because I don't want to go and like ask everybody for all this money. I know that's a hard thing to trust people with your funds. A lot of times I'll just ask people to send food, but I also don't like soliciting. I don't like begging for things, but every time I think I'm going to run out of food and I might have to deny somebody, like back in, I think March or April, we ended up getting 400 bags of dog food for $200.
Woo! And
that is amazing. That has fed so many dogs in the neighborhood, and I just ended up getting, I think, 31 bags of cat food last night for like $160. I don't know how these things keep happening, or somebody will make a huge donation. Oh, and there was 2 little boys, ages I think 5 and 8 in our neighborhood, and for their birthday party, like last month, they asked all the guests to bring pet food instead of presents for them, and then they donated it all. Like, I've got goosebumps. That was the sweetest thing ever. Yeah.
And we went live again because there was this story within the story, and even in this interview live right now, I'm learning even more angles that you're sharing with me. And that's what I submit to anyone watching this today. Okay, the headlines are going to tell you about a man who we can't even fathom the unthinkable of what he did. But guess what? I'm here to tell you that the storylines under the people who came together to be the voice for the voiceless are ridiculously good stuff. Like classic grassroots of good stuff. So what is the .org again, the webpage for people to find you?
For
pet food.
Pet food is petfoodassistance.org.
Okay.
And then you can also go to justiceforcoco.org. And there on the website are listed all the ways you can help, how you can support Senate Bill 164, how you can write a letter to the judge, basically telling the judge you demand punishment. You can also find the link to the petition on there, and then the link to the Facebook group and any other social media outlets to get updates.
I'm so glad you said all that right, because you can watch more extensive on the live stream we did just before this, but there you go. They have all the information you need to be part of this grassroots good stuff effort. I love you, my new friend. I'm grateful for you, and my prayer is that this helps exponentially expand the good stuff that you're doing to more people.
Yeah, a lot of people are becoming aware, and hopefully we can get some better animal cruelty laws out of this horrible, horrible thing. Yeah.
God bless you.